Hi, I'm Scott.
I'm Nelle.
And we're going to do our TBR, or are we, for the month of September? Is it September?
September. That's horrifying.
I know. It's still the lockdown. It's made the year pass quickly.
It's just not true. It's because we're old.
Now, Nelle.
It's relativity.
Yeah, it's relativity.
Yeah.
Time passes quicker and then we die.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. So what you're saying is we're actually like 70 now.
Anyway, carry on.
There is only one book on your TBR, isn't there?
I'm not doing TBRs.
You're not doing TBRs?
Nah, cracked it.
Why aren't you doing TBRs?
No, I always get overambitious. They stress me out. I have all these half-read books in the house because I'm so eager to get to my next TBR that I don't finish the book that I'm on. I don't think it's working for me.
It's not. So you're going to scrap them, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I might come back, but I think that from now on, I'll just pop into your TBR videos and announce any buddy reads I'm planning to do, or if I'm participating in a readathon, I might do a readathon specific TBR. But I don't think I'll do just month by month TBRs anymore.
Well, this is sort of like the last month where we can do whatever we want for a little bit, because there's two readathons that I'm quite excited about in October and November. Two big ones, and I'm sure you all know about them, but in case you're new to BookTube and you want to be caught up on the tea, it's Victober, where we read Victobian.
Victobian books.
Victobian classics. And that'll do. And non-fiction November, where we read fantasy in November.
And I don't know if I'm going to do those or not.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I may give you a Victober TBR, or I may just read in October and in my wrap dedicate whatever Victorian books I read to Victober.
And like flip at the bird or something.
I might. I don't know. Who knows?
Anyway.
Who knows? No one knows.
Anyway, we'll wait for those videos, those readathons to actually be announced
Yeah,
by
okay.
their people before we plan. But there is a book that we're going to read. We are buddy reading with Melissa at Fully Booked. I'm so looking forward to this. Melissa seems to be so well thought out with her opinions.
I'm looking forward to buddy reading.
I suspect that she has
Even
a very
with this
interesting brain.
Terribly trashed.
Now, look at what's
that.
happened to this book.
It's not happened. It's got dogged.
It's got dogged. It has. Has your dog ever done that to a book? Like this is why you don't use the bottom shelf of your bookshelves.
No, it wasn't even. It was on the coffee table. I'd literally unwrapped it. It was the day I got it. I'd unwrapped it.
You got it in the morning and you left it on the coffee table and didn't put it away, and by the time you got home in the evening...
Being gnawed on.
This is The Robber Bride. It is by... it's by this lady here. Her name's Margaret Atwood. So...
Sorry.
Super looking forward to that.
Yeah.
You need to take a nap, do you?
Yeah, I'm off.
Yeah, well, because I'm going to talk about my TBR.
Yeah,
you're not needed. Go away. I am participating in two readathons that I am super excited for during the month of September. The first one is... I'm not sure that's coming up. That's Emile Zola's Germinal. Pauline at Dancing Lawn is hosting the Germinal Readathon, or the Zola Readathon. She did a video where people voted on their favourite Zola book, and this one won, and then she announced a readathon, and I just really love Zola, and when I saw she was doing it, I asked if I could join, and she said yes, and I'm super excited to do that one. And Zola is just an author that people need to read more of. He's so good. He's so good. So if you're not sure about him, maybe follow Pauline at Dancing Lawn. I'll put her link in the description. And see some reviews for some of Zola's work. But he's one of the very best writers that ever lived. speaking of the very best writers that ever lived, I don't have a copy of the next book because it's taking forever to get here, and I'm really getting a bit anxious now. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. Brain work. Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. There's a readathon. It's hosted by Danny over at Spinelli Speaks. It includes a whole lot of really interesting booktubers. Christy Lewis at Dostoevsky in Space is also part of the hosting. And there's a Voxer chat with about 2/3 of BookTube in it. It's great. There are so many interesting people reading this book. And I really like that there are some people who are clearly super smart and know their stuff about this book, and there are some people who have never read Dostoevsky before and are really expanding their literary horizons. And it's one of their first classics, and it's not an easy classic to begin with, is it? But it's so good that we have such a variety of people of different reading levels and of different experiences doing it. It's, because it's such an intimidating work, and it's so nice that anybody can just join this group and they can read the book and they can say what they think, and there'll be somebody that is having the same experience of them. And with all these brainy, smart people that know the book, it'll be so interesting to see what they think and to actually properly get this book rather than having bits and pieces go over your head. And even in any novel this complex and this big, nobody gets it all. So seeing what other people think is I'm so looking forward to that. I often audiobook a lot of my TBR, but I am going to physically read Germinal. I am going to physically read Crime and Punishment, and I will give physically reading Margaret Atwood a shot as well. That is a rather ambitious list for me, but I have 4 more physical books that I have either started or plan on starting soon. Nella Larson's Passing. I'm super interested in this book. It's quite topical at the moment. The Vanishing Half is obviously inspired by Passing, and I want to read more. It's a very thin book, nice and easy to get through. Probably do that in a day, in an afternoon. Won't take too long. I think it's 90 pages long, so it's a good book to read. I've started this one. Everybody was reading Middlemarch, and I love this book, and I bought a copy of it because I lent a copy to somebody and I never got it back, and I thought, oh well, it was a used copy. I'll get myself a nice new book. Unfortunately, this copy has really small writing, and I'm finding it a little bit harder to read, but I was also very tired last night. I've only just started this book, and I thought I could, in my delusions, I thought I could just, rip through this book before the start of September, quickly wrap up just a quick Middlemarch, and then I'll free myself up for Germinal and for Crime and Punishment. And my head is in pain from the thinking that it's going to have to do preemptively. That's just too much. So I am going to read Middlemarch in September, but I will not be trying to finish it in September. I'll just be reading this really slowly. There's so much in all of the sentences that George Eliot writes anyway that doing a nice, slow read of it is actually going to be quite beneficial. And as it's a reread, I'm not too fussed about when I finish this book or anything like that. I know how it ends. I know I love this book, so I'm just gonna potter through this book slowly, and it might be February before I finish this book, and I don't care. But I just want to put it on my TBR because it's enjoyable. With all the heavy brain work that's going on, I wanted something that was fun. And Nell read The Bedlam Sacks, which is the second Natasha Pulley book. She says it is of very similar quality to The Watchmaker of Filigree Street, which is her first book. And that was a fun book. And I hope this is a fun book. There's like it's not brainless. It's got a lot going on, but it's just Natasha Pulley is fun. She's easy. So I look forward to reading this as a bit of a palate cleanser in between some of the ridiculously hard books that I will be reading. Then I don't think that I have any chance of getting to this book, but I was unsure whether to read this book next or Middlemarch. It's The Master and Marguerite. It's a dark comedy. It is a reread for me. I have really decided to reread some books that I love. Since the reread book tag by Scally Dandling that Nell and I did, I just don't reread quite enough books. And it occurred to me that not only is that silly because I love those books, why would I not reread them? That a lot of the books that I love, like The Master and Marguerite, if you've read that book, if you know what it's about, let me know, because that's batshit insane, this book. But it's hilarious, and it's definitely about nihilism, and it's definitely about good and evil, and it's definitely about the nature of God and whether he exists, and the nature of the devil and whether he exists, and it's definitely about Russian society. And I just don't get 90% of what's in it, and I will read it and I will get 80, I'll get another 10%, and that'll be great. And that's sort of what will happen when you reread the big chunky books. So very much looking forward to that. So yeah, I'll be rereading Germinal is a reread, Crime and Punishment is a reread, and listening to other people's opinions is so good. Does anybody, when they watch YouTube, leave the autoplay on accidentally and end up watching channels that they like, but watching old videos of them? I did that the other day, and just whatever YouTube was recommending, and I watched two old videos by booktubers I liked. I watched one by Katie at Books and Things and one by Charlie Heathcote, both basically saying that they love Diane Setterfield. And I thought that's enough of a recommendation for me to give Once Upon a River a shot. Two booktubers whose opinions I think are definitely worthwhile listening to. So that sums up my TBR for the month of September. I will be very happy if I get through 3/4 of this. I should say the Crime and Punishment Readathon is going over 2 months, so I won't finish Crime and Punishment. I hope it arrives in the mail. So it's going to come on Tuesday. I'm filming this on Sunday, so Tuesday will be the 1st of September. So hopefully it gets there. Because I'm in Australia, it'll be everybody else's 31st of August, and I can start on the same day as everybody else. Yeah, that's how it works. Time travel. Yeah, let us know in the comments what you're reading. Let us know what you think of Nell's stance on a TBR. She's gone. She's reading her books. Yeah, but let us know what let us know what you think of her stance on a TBR, because that will be interesting. Do you find TBRs pressure you into reading books? Do you find that you just want to mood read and a TBR is too prescriptive? Do you find that after you put too many books in your TBR that you feel obligated to read them and you want to move on? What's your thoughts? Bye.